The universe speaks only one word, and that one word is yes. The universe is always and only saying yes. What do I mean by this? Well, the universe is a mirror. So it's reflecting back to you whatever you believe most about yourself, whatever it is you're embodying, because ultimately what you believe most about yourself is what you will embody. Okay, so it's your state of being, it's your frequency. And so if you have these beliefs about yourself that are negative, that have to do with you not being enough, or you not being worthy, or you being sinful or whatever, then you're going to embody this state of being that has to do with insecurity, rejection, guilt, shame, judgment. That's what you're going to be embodying. And believe it or not, what you are embodying, your state of being, your energetic frequency, your vibration, is what is creating what you are perceiving to be your external world, and all these different things that are happening in your life, the circumstances, the situations, the opportunities, all these different moments are a reflection of whatever it is you're carrying, whatever it is you're embodying, which again is tied to what you mostly believe about yourself. So the universe just says, okay, if that's what you want, if that's what you are sending out into the field, then that's what you'll keep getting. And that's why we experience these patterns over and over and over again. These patterns are trying to teach us, they're trying to show us that until we crack the code, until we transcend the pattern, then we'll experience something different. But if we keep judging it, if we keep having this negative energy, this ungrateful energy, this fearful energy, this anxious energy about whatever it is that we're experiencing in our lives, all that is doing, this judgmental energy, that's a big one, all that is doing is it's attracting more situations, more circumstances, more whatever it is, like the ones we've been experiencing that tend to be negative, and we get trapped in these different cycles. But it's all pattern recognition, and that's why I always say that one of the most important elements of awakening is being able to recognize the patterns in your life, because the patterns in your life are your greatest teachers. They're teaching you, they're showing you where you are still stuck, where you are trapped in some kind of limiting belief. And the limiting belief that you're believing about yourself isn't necessarily your fault. So this is not a blame game. It's not your fault. Maybe you were born into some kind of system or structure that said that you were inherently worthy. And you believed that when you were a kid, and that just became ingrained in your subconscious mind. And that's what was creating all these different feelings and emotions that you were carrying around all the time, that were continuously attracting all these different things into your life. And not only attracting things into your life, but also repelling the things that you actually wanted to experience. So the universe says yes. But with that in mind, if you change your inner state of being, by changing what you actually believe about yourself, then all of a sudden, the universe starts to mirror that, because the universe doesn't change. That yes, that eternal, infinite yes is always right there, right here, right now, in the present moment. So, how do we actually do this? Well, I think that self-compassion is everything. I think it's the key. I think self-compassion is the greatest meditation that you can practice, because through self-compassion, you start to accept yourself, and acceptance is actually what enables you to, it's how you approach these deep subconscious negative beliefs about yourself, these feelings towards yourself, these different ideas, these things, these stories you've been told and that you've been believing in. So if it's something about yourself that is like disempowering, like I am not enough, or I'll never get there, or if only I was like this or that, comparison, judgment, the self-acceptance comes in, and like like when light meets darkness, the light dispels the darkness. The same thing happens when you bring your awareness into these parts of you that feel rejected, that feel not enough, that feel insecure and full of shame and hatred and judgment. You bring the light of your awareness with that self-compassion together into those parts of you, and you integrate the wholeness of your being. And when that happens, then you start to put out a different frequency into the field. And I know, you know what? I'll be honest with you. A lot of what I'm saying is stuff that I didn't used to believe in. I didn't used to believe that the universe was a mirror. I didn't used to believe that depending on what my beliefs were, that determined my state of being and that determined what I was experiencing in my life. I didn't believe any of that stuff. And in fact, I thought it was a bunch of new age woo-woo. And I thought it was all BS. But when I got to a place in my journey, which, by the way, it took me a long time to get to this place. But when I got to the place of being open-minded and honest and curious and willing to change my mind about things I used to believe were like absolute truths, then this is what caused me to actually evolve. And my awareness was expanded. And I started to see things from new perspectives, from higher perspectives. And this is when I said, you know what, I'll give this a try. And I started to test it out. So I would start to, meditate, and on purpose, I would choose to embody these elevated states of emotion, even though maybe I was having a bad day, maybe things weren't going the way I wanted them to go, and I had I would have these negative emotions and feelings that I'd be carrying around because of what was happening externally. But I would take time, I would pick out certain days and even like beyond just a day. Sometimes I'd go a week where I would, on purpose, I'd get up and I would meditate on gratitude or on peace. And I would just notice, I would sense, okay, when I'm just calm, when I'm relaxed, when I'm breathing, when I'm focusing on my breath, when I've got this mantra going on, when I'm present, and I carry that energy, that frequency wherever I go, it's like any situation or any kind of circumstance that would typically be chaotic and cause me a lot of stress and anxiety, like somehow, some way, my field, my energy that I'm carrying, it ends up changing that. It ends up like whatever I'm experiencing externally, when I would carry this peace or this gratitude throughout my day, would not automatically, but it would like slowly start to shift in a way that would align with the inner state of being of peace and gratitude and joy or whatever it was that I was choosing on purpose to embody. And so when I started to know, and then I noticed, on the other hand, when I was feeling down and out and I was being super negative and I was being hard on myself and I wasn't expressing any kind of self-acceptance or compassion, and I carried that energy long enough, it was like I was constantly attracting these negative circumstances and situations over and over and over again. That's the pattern I was talking about, until I realized that all these things that I'm experiencing have some kind of connection to the field, to the frequency that I'm sending out. Why? Because the universe only speaks one word, and that word is yes. It says yes. Whatever you are embodying, that's what you'll experience. Because guess what? What you are perceiving to be your outer external world, it's all mentalism. It's all the mind. This is the first principle in Hermeticism. If you don't know anything about Hermeticism, I highly encourage you to learn it, study it. The 7 principles of Hermeticism has changed my life tremendously. First principle is mentalism. Then there's the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. That's the mirror effect. That's this whole notion of the universe being some kind of mirror. And whatever it is that you're perceiving to be the out there is just a reflection of whatever your inner world is. So I know this may sound far out. Like I said, for me, for a while it did. And I was trying to make sense of it on the level of my mind. But this is something that is you have to give it a chance to prove itself to you through your direct experience, through your own willingness to be open and to change your mind about this reality if you have doubts about it. But if you really sit there and if you're honest with yourself and you go back and you can look at the different times in your life where you experience different things or different patterns, you'll be amazed. And if you can remember what you were feeling and what you were embodying during these different seasons of your life, when these different things were happening, I think you'll start to pick up on some pretty interesting and some pretty profound patterns and lessons that are to be learned in these different energetic paradigms and cycles and things that just keep popping up in our lives that are trying to show us something, that are trying to teach us why we even are here in the first place. Because I believe this is a school, Earth is a school, and we come here to evolve. We come here to transcend who we think we are, to discover who we really are, and the way we do that is through all these different lessons that the Earth School curriculum has to offer, and pattern recognition is where it starts. But the universe is saying yes, and when you start to meditate on this reality, you start to practice it, you start to live it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So I think that's it for today. If you found this video helpful, informative, or insightful, please leave a thumbs up at the bottom of the screen, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.